Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to the channel. It's Rad. And tonight we're gonna look into what do we need to know. The cards for it. You can look at them at the thumbnail, but I'm gonna show them to you in any case. Before that though, I don't know how exciting news that is, but it's at least exciting to me. And a few hours ago, I just received the new design for the star signs that I'm displaying here. I know that it's kind of like I talked about it a few months ago, and I know that for Pisces Moonbeam, that is kind of like a bit of a blind side. But hopefully you're going to like them. I do have a little bit of an issue with them right now, so I'm going to use the old ones. However, for the next time, hopefully that issue is going to be cleared out. I'm going to use the new ones. That is if, of course, Pisces Moonbeam is okay with it. I mean, if she likes them, because this is a two-man's operation after all. You have no sound, or it does look like that it streams. Hold on a second. Well, I can hear myself on the live stream, so it's just you, Pisces Moonbeam. Right, so with that said, going forward with the collective reading for what we need to know, the first one, that is going to be the World, followed by the next card here, which stands for the Lovers. This is the second card. And the third one we have, that is Temperance. So you're watching me on a TV then, mate. Okay. It's cool. All right, guys, big thing. It's pretty much a final notice to say change our minds or to fix something. Now, the thing about these three cards and what we need to know, it is that at this point, doesn't matter how it looks, okay? Things aren't final. But here is the thing though, as things aren't final, we do get to decide a course. So, can I put it into words? On the plus side, that's obviously a good thing because we do get to have our say. In the love situation we are in the career situation we are in, whatever case, okay? On the other side, or on the flip side, and by the way, a small, I don't know if it is a secret or anything, but Pisces Moonbeam saw these cards a few hours ago and said, oh shit, what is that? You know, 3 major arcana. And I told her that, and then I shared that, you know, and she asked me, well, is it toward a good thing? Well, that's the thing. There is no good and bad, at least not within this situation. Because right now, okay, some of us are doing what they need, okay, or they are striving for what they need. Others are striving for what they want. And we can change that. What I mean, those who are striving for what they need, they can have a change of heart and go for what they want, and vice versa. But the thing about these cards, and I know that, you know, from a marketing standpoint, from a marketing standing point, I should always end with a positive twist or spin or whatever, you know, the marketing thing says. And that is not exactly, I mean, it is positive, but not many people look at it that way, because that should tell you, I mean, this statement should tell you that one cannot have both. So you can have what you need, or you can have what you want, but you can't have both. We can't have both. That's why there is no good or bad outcome here. With everyone, with every outcome, has its pros and cons. And I'm sorry for the example here, but imagine, you know, we do have a person, doesn't matter if it is a man or a woman, it can happen to anyone. A person who does have a happy family and whatnot, and a family, to put a stability, it is what that person needs. That person suddenly falls in love with someone else, and that is what they want. They can't have it both ways, okay? They can't go and kind of like sail toward the sunset with the person they love and retain what they need, which is a family that they are going to abandon. But they have the say, and that is the big burden that we are going to carry on within the next few days. We get to decide, are we going to go for what we need? Or are we going to go for what we want? Choice is pretty much ours here. And that is what we need to know. That ultimately, if we feel, well, that is a big slap from those cards, and that is how I take it. It is that ultimately, you know, if we feel screwed after next few days, it is because we basically fucked up ourselves. Simple as that. Right, so few notes about the show. There are going to be 12 readings, just as this one. One for each star sign, and I'm going to start with Aries, and I'm going to end up with Pisces. So the sequence is going to be as runs the ecliptic: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so on and so forth. Wow, I understand, and that's a big thing, Pisces Moonbeam. I mean, for some it could be just, you know, just a choice, and they may look at this interpretation as just a choice, but it isn't just a choice. It is about a sacrifice, willingly giving up one so you can have, or so we can have the other, and we have to bear the consequences of the one that we haven't picked. You know, the one that sails toward the sunset has to bear the consequences that they aren't going to have family, while the other that doesn't sail toward the sunset has to bear the consequences that they ain't going to be loved. One way or another, this choice that we have to make in the next few days will have, like I said, its pros and its cons, and they will equalize each other, but that doesn't mean that they're going to negate each other. On the contrary. So, like I said, 12 readings, just as this one, for each star sign, starting Aries, ending up with Pisces. And bear in mind, guys, these are readings for your star sign. Therefore, you should use that information as something to open your eyes. For more options available as a guidance, if you will. That information very seldom happens to be a exact resolution to whatever situation you're going through. If you wish, subject to your situations, subject to my interpretations to be your situations, you can go to my website, which link you will find in the description down below. And there on the very front page, you can see full list of my services and as well their pricing. Other than that, if you do enjoy the show and you do wish to support us, you can do so using Super Chat or PayPal. The link for the PayPal you will find in the description down below. And now, starting up first, we do have Aries. Let me put the star sign on so you can track which star sign I'm reading for by observing the glyph being displayed here. Oh, well, that is because, oh, Pisces Moonbeam, that connection in between phone and TV, it's a bit finicky. Because the thing about the TV, how they transfer sound from another smart device, let's put it that way, is through, well, let me put it that way. If your phone is, well, no, I'm not going to talk about it because I may end in conflict with interest, and I'm not a tech guy. So, but the thing it is that sometimes, you know, there is a path that your TV doesn't recognize. For example, if you connect your PC with the TV, you gotta specifically say to the PC that to transfer the sound through HDMI so the TV can produce it. Anyway, for Aries, first one, that is going to be Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Moon card. And afterwards, that's going to be the Five of Cups, right? So these three cards here. Oh, by the way, Yasmin, thank you for the 20. Thank you, Yasmin. Let me put you into the list. Okay. So again, those three cards for Aries here. And it is the need for you, okay? And looking at that Nine of Pentacles, I think that you will be more lucky than the others, because the need for you, if not completely suffusing, at least coming very close to as well what they want. Not what they, but what you want in that particular case. And that is because of this elements of dignity here. Nine of Pentacles with the Moon card, because the Moon card here adds up to the Nine of Pentacles, the destiny, right? Or in other words, you're gonna get what you are destined for, and what you are about to get will offer you, say, a trampoline for you to jump from. And jumping from that particular trampoline, you will find yourself leaping through your development. So how can you take it? Well, if you are to be offered a job, so to speak, at least according to these cards, that is to be the job. You have been approached with intimate intentions. That is the person, at least at that particular stage. Again, that's a trampoline, okay? And there is going to be an interference with the recent choices that you have made. So you will have to either abandon stuff or get back on your word, so to speak. But neither of those aspects that you will have to do will be a crushing one. It's not like you will have to go back on a promise or abandon a friend or anything like this. It's more of a personal decision, okay? And the only person that is gonna feel bad from it, that you are going back on your word that you have gave to yourself, it's you. But this disappointment is gonna be something temporary as per those cards. Right, so that was Aries. And moving next, we do have Taurus. Ace of Pentacles. Ten of Swords. Justice. Hello, Jen. You know, those days or those moments, if you will, that you do have just so much things to do, Okay, just so much things to do. At some point, want things to cut off certain activities, okay, to cancel a date, or I don't know, to cancel a trip. It's just to cut off the platter certain, say, responsibilities, if you will. And what you are about to cut off, it's your arm or your leg, if figuratively speaking, that is. Because one of these activities happens to be the rare opportunity for you to develop and to further your goal, which is going to bring you a lot of content, it's going to bring you a lot of happiness, it's going to bring you a lot of glee, okay? And if we're talking about cut off at your work, you are about to cut off quite lucrative opportunities or quite lucrative business maneuvers. If we are talking about cutting off from your personal life, then you are about to cut off a harmonious relationships or a relationship. So whenever you do decide to cut off something, think twice about it, because another thing about these cards is once you do it, you ain't gonna get it back. All right, you cancel that date, you ain't gonna date with that person no more. Or at least you are going to make it to yourself so much harder than it needs to be. All right, so that was Taurus. Moving next, that will be Gemini. By the way, Pisces Moonbeam, hope you aren't gonna run away after the show. I need to show you the new designs. Okay, I need to show you the new designs. Hope you like them. For Gemini, the Magician, the Fool, and the Star. Big one for Gemini. Big one. That is the moment, guys, and that's what you need to know here is that you will not gonna be, let's put it that way, hold or held to your past. No different than, and I'm sorry for giving that example, but no different that if you have been convicted and you're looking for a job. And what these cards describe, it is that for the next 2 days, the people that you're going to stumble to get a job, they're not going to hold you to your past, and they're not going to take it under consideration. And that is a thriving environment of starting new deals, right? New endeavors, so to speak, relationships, businesses, jobs as well. And what you can expect, it is that the new business or the new relationship or the new hobby, whatever you please here, because you will be the constructor of your fate for the next few days. And they're not going to be tainted, for lack of a better word here, to your previous experiences, previous doings, and previous plights. All right, exes ain't gonna come around and screw the relationships you can have. All right, you ain't gonna have a bad word being told about you to your new boss, and so on and so forth. But all lies and all clings, so to speak, to your own personal standing and sovereignty, right? the universe is not gonna, at least that's what you need to know, the universe is not gonna do it for you. It's not gonna make it happen for you. You are gonna make it happen for yourself. But because, and that's gonna be possible because the universe is not gonna hold you to your, if you wanna say it that way, let it be karma, right? And so expectations. I love the expectations of those three cards. First, personal life. People are gonna love you for who you are, and I mean the more you spend time with them, the more they are gonna love you for who you are. So very likely that within the next few days you can find a kind of not compatible. The word is not compatible that I'm looking for. Somewhere where you fit very well. Okay, social circle. You may find a person to start a unfolding love with, okay, a business that completely fits with your ideals and your standards, how make it a job as well. But as the universe is not going to carry on anything from your past, you shouldn't either. For example, you start dating someone, don't compare it with your ex, right? That's the worst thing you can do. And the very least, Gemini, you can expect a huge era of havoc and turmoil for you to end within the next few days. Hello, Angel. All right, moving next. That will be Cancer. Taco, thank you for the $33.30, mate. Thank you. At the end of the stream, you're going to have your personalized reading as well. Let me put you into the list. So, Cancer. King of Cups. Page of Wands. And Knight of Swords. Old as the world. And I don't like to be specific within these general readings, guys, but these cards are getting very, very specific. So what we have here and what you need to know, it is that there is a person or an entity around you that wants to offer you something. Now the problem is they don't want to how to, all right? And looking at that page of wands next to the King of Cups, I think that they want to offer you something. It is just they don't know what you are going to agree on, right? They may want to offer you a friendship or an intimacy or a job. They don't know if you are okay to take it. Or you may say that they just don't know how to make a pitch here. And that's what you need to know. So how you are going to recognize these individuals? Well, the best way how, or entities, the best way how you can spot them and catch them with their pants down, it is by observing who gives them an impression that doesn't give a shit about you, but when you do approach them, they are ready to lay in your feet. Okay, so that is how you spot who that is as an either entity or as either a person. Next, Leo. Knight of Wands, Ten of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. It's again either an individual or an entity. Good night, living girl. Well, Alright, so these are a people or a person who just can't have enough. This isn't quite as always asking for more, okay? They just can't have enough of one thing. And they always want more from that particular thing. Now, that doesn't mean that they want more from everything, right? And that person or this entity is willing to explore their options. That's what you need to know. Now, hopefully that's not the person you date. Hopefully that's, for example, a friend who isn't satisfied with, say, or someone you know that it is not satisfied with just knowing you, right? And they just want more from that and are willing to explore their options. We all know when, for example, your boss wants more from you and you can't give it, and they are willing to explore their options, what that means. Hopefully that's not the case. But what these cards do represent and how you can fix that, if you, of course, want to go there and fix it, it is to show to them as well that no matter how much you have, you always want more too. And so that creates kind of like a symbiosis, if we can put it that way. But one thing is for certain for what these cards are showing here, Leo, and that is that this person is willing to exhaust, not to explore, but to exhaust every single capacity that they do have at this point before they go for a new options. So you do have time, if you will, if you want to please that entity or that individual, you do have still options. Whether you take them or not, it is entirely up to you guys. Okay. Going forward, Virgo. Ten of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. All right, so this reading, it does depend. If you had, hello Shana, if you had recently started something, whether start a job, start a relationship, or say friendship, you have bought a house, for example, something you have acquired or started recently. And if that's the case, a couple of things you should need to know. That you have started or acquired recently is gonna fill all of your expectations. Another thing, it is your initial intention for whatever you started it or acquired it. You can use it, you can use that thing for more in a different aspect that you haven't thought about, that you haven't thought about it up until this point, but later down the road it will become useful even more for you. If you haven't up until this point. And that's gonna sound dull, but what you need to know is that you do have everything you need right now. And you shouldn't say jeopardize it in any way. All right, next, Libra. Ace of Swords, the Moon, King of Pentacles. All right, so there is going to be some kind of an information that's going to come your way, which is going to be true, by the way, even though you may not want to believe it at this point. And the reason why I wouldn't want to believe it at this point is because it's going to mess around with your plans. And which particular plans, you may ask? Well, those plans which are to put it to bed. You may want to put your relationship to bed. You may want to put your job to bed. You may want to put a conflict to bed, okay? And I'm saying that it's going to interfere. It's not going to stop it. And yeah, while this information will be true and it will be there, is what you need to know, it is that it's going to be irrelevant for the outcome. It may delay it, but the outcome still can be, say, salvaged or accomplished the way your vision is. Just you will have to work a little bit more harder and longer for it. But people that are going to be hit the hardest is about investiture, right? You may plan to invest something. Doesn't have to be money, but just to invest something, and an information about the investment play is going to come about that probably is going to make you think twice about it. Regardless, these resources are not going to be lost. You may just want to find somewhere else to invest instead, but still, you know, the intentions to get a return on your investment can happen. Okay, next, Scorpio. King of Cups, Page of Cups, Five of Pentacles. Now that looks like a perfect love storm, and I'll tell you why it looks like a perfect love storm. Not just only that there is a person who falls for us, or in other words, has a, or is about to have an emotional attachment to us, but also it's a person who went through the same shit with it. Okay, for example, had a childhood like ours, or faced the same difficulties like ours, or likes the same things as ours, as we do, I'm sorry, and so on and so forth. Bottom line, it is that according to these cards, our life experiences are coming pretty close to each other. And this makes it for a person who can truly understand us. So, that it is not limited to new people also. Because it may happen that, for example, you can stuff it in the woo head of your partner, what you went through, and they can suddenly, you know, start understanding you and can relate with it on a basis of their own experience. But it benefits a lot of people that, you know, have just met with each other here. So we Scorpio should expect a really nice emotional experience within the next few days, I'm sorry. And what we need to know is that it is real. And I don't like it, but it does have the power to change us. Mattia, thank you for the 20. Thank you, Mattia. Let me put you into a list as well. Okay. Sagittarius next. The Strength. Four of Pentacles. The Star. Now we're talking about sacrifice. So what you need to know, Sagittarius, it is that within the next few days, you're going to have your shot. You're going to have a chance to take your aim, right? Okay, so to take a shot upon the target. Now this is going to be a long stride though, just so you are warned. It will take a lot of development, whether that's about a relationship, whether that's about some kind of a business, right? You need to know that's going to be a hell of a climb. But what you need to know is that it's worth it. I mean, at the end of this climb, when you come on top on the summit and you survey the vista of all that, you will be freaking pleased that you took that particular climb. You took the hike, right? Although at some points through the hike, you will question yourself why you are even doing it. And the answer always is going to be the same, because when you kind of like draw the line, you do what you want at that point. So for you, the answer of the general, or rather like the collective reading, is simple. I think that you're going to go for what you want rather than what you need here, okay? The thing about it is that you will have to give up on some secure positions in order to do so. Not all of you, not all of the secure positions you have, but some of them you will have to give on. That is what you need to know. And the reason for that is that because they are just not going to fit with your ideals, so to speak. Let me give you a quick example of it. You have an ideal, right? Not to do love where you do work, but suddenly happens that you are falling in love with someone that you're working with. They do the same thing with you. I mean, they're falling in love with you. So you can't work together anymore. So you have to give up the secure position of your job in favor of having a love life. That's just for an example, guys. All right, Capricorn. Judgment. Ace of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Oh, that's a tough read. You know, that's what we people do, aren't we? Always striving things to be as perfect as possible in everything. To have a job that you love and in the same time to bring you shitloads of money, to make you rich so you can buy a mansion and have kids that are happy with all that, kids that are happy that you are not at home all the time because you have to maintain that job and so on and so forth. So we do have everything to be like a fairy tale, and that is within our human nature. But what you need to know it is that this particular bubble for you is gonna be bursted within the next few days. You will understand that no matter how much you try, you just cannot get it that perfect. Okay, you just can't. No one actually can. That's what you are going to understand. And so the question to you is going to be whether you are going to be true to yourself or true to the situation. And at that point, your soul is going to know the answer. And so what you need to know is to go with your soul, not with your mind. That's what we have here. That's what you need to know, Capricorn. It's highly spiritual read. Okay. And just give me a second. Pisces Moonbeam, I sent you a message and I need you to look at it like right now. Okay. So that was for Capricorn, and it's, like I said, it's a highly spiritual reading that we have ahead of us. And part of it, guys, it is to understand that no matter how much one tries, we are humans, and unfortunately, that's what we humans do. We do mistakes. We can't be perfect. But these mistakes, these differences that we have are what makes us special from one another. Okay. So moving next. Aquarius. Hello, Aries. I do make personalized reading in the live streams only for the super chat. The World. Two of Wands. Queen of Cups. Well, a couple of things for Aquarius. I do believe that they both involve people. Okay. One of them for certain. And that is that within the next few days, we will know whom we can trust. Doesn't matter if we're talking about job or not, or just friendship, or you know, our intimate life. We're just gonna know whom we can trust through different means, but the result is gonna be the same for all of us. And so that speaks that every single one of us is gonna be left with at least one good friend. Okay, a real friend. Now, the other thing I believe that also involves people, and that is that within the next few days, and I'm saying we because I'm rising Aquarius, and my Jupiter is in the is in there as well, so that affects me a lot. We are going to understand and see where things just can't move forward. Okay, they can stay as they are, as some good results. They can never go complete. And whether we stick with it and always be in, for example, the friendship zone, or always having to catch up at work and so on and so forth, or we're gonna make a change, something that begs for different perception. That is up to us to decide. But on the bright side, again, next few days, at the very least, we are gonna end up with a loyal and super good friend, and at the most, deep love. Unconditional one. All right, Pisces. Well, I don't know if that's very good thing. I mean, they're saying that Jupiter is the lucky planet. But my whole life, luck was not just wasn't with me. Well, it was, but in a different level than what most people understand luck. I'll tell you something, guys. People understand luck like hitting a lottery or anything like that, okay? Having luck, having things go your way without lifting up a finger. And I never had that thing with me, okay? Things never happen on their own accord in my life. I always have to kind of like work for it, if you will. And that isn't just for some things, that's about everything. And I know that if I have to go to the end, right, to have something complete, there are gonna be a million things that can go wrong. They are gonna go wrong, and I'll have to deal with that in any way. Just to give you an example, when I buy a technology, a new computer or a new TV or whatever the hell, it never fires up from the get-go, all right? There is always an issue with it, and I have to go back to the retailer and sort all these shits. But when shits hit the fan, right, when the situation is truly dire, when my back is against the wall, there is always something that saves me. I believe that is what, when you have Jupiter on your rising sign, I mean, Pisces Moonbeam can elaborate on it, but that is how it happens to me. When shit truly hits the fan, there is always something there to save me, to give me the edge, so I do not fall in that pit of excrements, if you may say it that way. Right, so Pisces. Queen of Swords. Seven of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. That's unveiling, rather. Unveiling of an individual that it is not playing around, okay? There is a lot on the line for them, and they are not messing around with it. A powerful individual. So it's gonna play different depending how you stand to this individual, okay? If you are an ally, okay, so what is on the line for them, it is your thing, then things are gonna go well for both of you. Because this one, they know how to get shit done. If you are on opposite sides though, well, let's put it that way, very few archetypes can stand to the Queen of Swords, let alone beat her in anything. Maybe the Emperor. Okay, just maybe the Emperor, and only if he's willing to cut the limb so I can save the torso. Queen of Swords is not playing around, right? So that's whom you are dealing with or dealing for. Hopefully you are the one who is dealing for, just so you know. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it for the 12th, and now we're going for the super chat readings. First one, that's Yasmin Shaughnessy. Thank you for the 20. Thank you, Shaughnessy. Let me put you into the list. All right, here ya. All right, Yasmin, you go first. So that's what you need to know. Okay. Those are the cards. And they involve a man, okay? They involve a man, maybe someone that you are working with or working by or working for. There is a big chance that work is involved here. And what you need to know is that you don't know the whole story here, right? And any decision that you may render about this man, it's gonna be a wrong one, because you just don't have the whole story, right? You have the most of it, at least according to these cards. You can kind of like assemble the picture, but there are those key moments which are missing in there. And what you need to know is that by waiting enough, I mean, the situation is gonna reveal itself to you. and what you will have to do or say or choose will become pretty obvious. So you don't have to rush it, because any rush will be wrong. According to these cards right now, the right course of action or right course of choice doesn't even cross your mind, because you don't have that information which is required. That's what you need to know. So whatever you have to choose about a man for the next few days, according to these cards, delay it for as long as you can, because any choice will end up being selfish. All right, next, Taco. All right, those are your Lenormand cards here. Actually, I drew a fourth one. It's the dog as well. So we do have the whip and the broom, the heart, the tower, and the dog. Those are you, mate. We are on you. Hello, Rob. Yeah, I'm quite well. And I just showed you all the Lenormand cards, Taco. So those four, okay? The whip and the broom, the heart, the tower, and the dog. And those are your tarot cards. Six of Cups, King of Cups, and the Magician. So what you need to know is that there is a big argument coming, right? If it haven't started yet, okay? And that's going to, I think that is going to involve your relationship or marriage. And the argument is going to be, well, it's kind of difficult to describe it here. Can you mix love with loyalty? I mean, I have never experienced such a thing, but I can almost swear that that's going to be how loyal your love is to me. Okay, that's kind of an argument that it is coming your way. And it's always going to come to that, how pleasant you are to one another. Okay, that's all that is going to boil down to. When the whole thing fires up, right? Because ultimately that's what you need to know. It isn't about, you know, about other people. It isn't about whether your family or her family is against your relationship. It isn't about whether your job or not, or her job or not, it is interfering with that relationship. What boils down to, at least to these two cards, is how much you love each other and how pleasant it is the time you spend together. Okay, that is what you need to know, that when that thing fires up and you care about that relationship you have, spend more time with a girl or with your wife, so to speak. If you don't care, you don't care. But according to the Lenormand cards, This argument is coming if it haven't started already. Give me a second, Mattia. Coming up. Well, it's going to be you don't love me because of, something. You say, oh, I love you because I did that. And you know how these things fire up. It's kind of like either of you or each of you is making compromises with the other without saying a word. And at some point, it tips the scales, it becomes too much, and the whole thing fires up, it boils up. So the argument could be about everything, but what boils down to it is whether you love each other. Well, then keep doing what you're doing, and that argument doesn't have to be a big thing, right? It could be just that you remember that you have recently argued about that thing. Yeah, it could be an argument that have already happened as well. Or that argument could be brought up again, right? And just to test the loyalty. That's the thing about that's the thing about the Lenormand cards, mate. They do show you the future, but then you do not get to understand it. And that could be a super insignificant argument. But again, what boils down to it is whether you have a pleasant time with each other or not. And if you do, no matter, at least according to the tarot, no matter the argument, you will survive is very strong word, because nothing is going to be in jeopardy, all right? It's a matter of loyalty and trust. And so the trust won't be undermined. There could be business involved. Like I said, for example, you are saying here you promise that you are going to do more quality time with each other next week. But what if something comes up that you are urgently needed in regards to your business, or your wife is urgently needed in regards to her business, and the other one doesn't take it very well and say, well, you promised, right? So what happens then? There you go. You have an argument. It doesn't have to be a big one. But you still say, well, you promised. And there you go, it starts. All right, Mattia. You're welcome, Taco. Those are cards, Mattia. And truth be told, I don't know what they are referring to, in a sense of whether that's about something about your marriage or something about your business, or a isolated case in your business, like a certain deal. But here is the deal, and that's what you need to know. There is a ongoing undertaking, okay? Like a deal or a new client or a friendship that you have just started, something that you have, say you are developing an emotional attachment to, like you're starting to like it and you're willing to make certain compromises to it. And what you need to know it is that it will come to your attention that is not going to bring any benefits at that point, okay? Like you're expecting upfront payment and the client calls and say, I cannot do it. I just can't do it. And so on. That is just for an example. But also what you need to know, it is that this is something temporary, in a sense of that this is an isolated case right now. And while it undermines the positive experience, or let's not fool ourselves, it's going to make you like the whole endeavor less, a lot less. The whole endeavor can get where it is supposed to get. Or in other words, whatever the potential, it's still there. This is just a temporary setback. That is what you need to know. Another example, let's say that your husband promised you something and that makes you like him more, and suddenly he says, well, you know, I said that, but I can't do it right now. So you're going to start like him less, say a little bit less, okay? Just because he can't do it right now doesn't mean that he can't do it later or on a later stage, which he will, if you do not bail out. So that is another thing here. Just don't bail out because things doesn't go your way, at least within the next few days, let's put it that way. That is what you need to know, because you need to know that the orientation is right and the setup is right. It's just right now the dividends that needs to come or that should come cannot come for different reasons. And this whole thing happens within a field that you feel pretty good about, in a sense of that you have an impression that you have it in the bag. All right. And last but not least, Shauna say, you have a trip and you want to know what to expect from it. Let me look at your question again. Any issue I should be aware of, like a problem? You're welcome, Mattia. So those are your cards here, Shauna say. Oh, with the drive itself? Well, according to these cards, you shouldn't have any problems with the drive itself. This is more toward the purpose of your drive. And according to the cards, there is a woman involved, a woman that holds your loyalty, or that you do hold her loyalty. And the only difficulty that you are going to face is how to go about it. Because what's going to come down to at the end of the day is that there is going to be a thing you will want to do, and you are not going to ask for permission. And while you are not obliged to, at least according to the cards, out of courtesy, you should. And that is where the problem may lie, although it's highly, highly unlikely that is going to be raised up as an issue. But according to these cards, you should have no issue with the drive itself. All right. So that's going to do it, guys, for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for your generosity. And hopefully we're going to see each other around. Until then, bye.